I was born in Heidelberg, Germany. My father was drafted in the Army probably during the Vietnam years, and he was placed, luckily, in Germany. And I believe we lived there for about a year before returning to a farm in central Kansas, where I was raised. And after high school, spending all that time on the farm, and I went to college at a place called Fort Hays State University, a small place not too far from where I grew up, and luckily had the encouragement of professors and my aunt and uncle to make a visit to New York City shortly thereafter, and sort of became enamored with New York at that time. And then after college, moved to Kansas City, Missouri, with previously a brief stay in Leavenworth, Kansas, teaching art and painting. And I became, after 5 years there, I had this kind of wanderlust to and intrigue in New York City. And so I applied to master's programs in painting and did not get accepted, but decided that maybe there was an education beyond college that could happen in New York. I was craving diversity. My friends, we used to joke that I had been sitting on the fence about my sexuality, so I kind of thought it would be this wonderful place to jump in and swim in the anonymity of the city. And found myself with a moving truck moving into Hoboken for a short stint, kind of a intense first year with intense roommates, and but still some wonderful experiences, and made my way to, after near complete breakdown, to I think intake therapist who, when I said I enjoyed working with children, especially children with special needs, she said, "Can we interrupt this intake message for a moment, because my school needs an art teacher?" And much to my relief, I stumbled into an art teaching gig in Chelsea. So I then found my way to an apartment in Brooklyn, and many stories on that way, many lines outside a door, much disbelief in the amounts of money that one can be conned into spending to try to find somebody to help you find an apartment. And then tried teaching for several years, 6 years to be exact, at that school, and freelancing, and just kind of juggling life in New York, being a barista, trying to be a painter, and take in the amazing richness of this city and its people, and I was here for 14 years, happily and hard fought, for sure. I felt like I was sometimes like the old Hamm's beer commercials, the bear that's running on the barrel or the log in the water, just running and falling in, and then getting back up and doing it all over again. But I think most of the time with at least a half smile on my face. So freelancing, New York, was not a successful thing for me. I tried, but there's this moment where I'm trying to, of course, do too many things at once. Take a hand crocheted scarf, getting ready to go meet my one of my freelance potential bosses, an interior designer, take the scarf, running out the door, feel it is connected to something, turn around to be clocked right in the eye with, in my glasses with, I guess it's about like this thick wooden beam that was my coat rack. Decide that I'm just going to go swing by, get a new pair of glasses underway, thinking that could be easy, and head to the interview meeting with the person, the interior designer. Get on the train, get to the eye doctor, walk into the eye doctor, and I think my girlfriend at the time met me there, like, okay, and we walk in, and it's oddly like Cohen's Optical or something near Union Square, and it's all lesbians working there. So we made the joke of secret lesbian handshake thing, right? But the eye doctor comes up to me and says, "So you think you're just gonna buy a pair of glasses and get out of here, but you have this, not only do I have this increasing black eye happening, but I have this scratch across my eye." So she decides to give me, says, "It's going to cost you this much, but you better come in for this." We get that taken care of, learn that I'm like the most accident-prone person to my left eye in particular, and I go home and have to cancel the thing. So the next day I go to another freelance job for a friend of mine, a photographer. And we're working, and I'm trying my hand at being his assistant. And when he opens the door, I don't have any glasses because they're being made, and he's like, looks at my black eye and goes, "Cool, get in here. We're going to cancel all the work for the day and do shoot. I've never seen you without your glasses." So he, we take about half an hour to an hour, take about 75 to 100 shots, and of me with my black eye, which ends up being one of the most fortuitous moments, because if you walk around with a black eye, people look at you like you're a victim. And here, for me, it's completely embarrassing that I've been a victim of a coat tree. So I get ready to go meet him at a job at the Flomenhoft gallery for a big event that they're working, like it's a black tie event, and this is where I learned to have a really great, like, you've got to have a sense of humor to survive here. So I walk into the event to find David, who's my boss, who's the photographer, and as soon as I do, I'm met by the catering staff who are like, "You must be Jamie." And I'm like, "How'd you know?" And they said, "He told us to look for somebody with a black eye." And so as we're going around the event, shooting, people who've come, there are all kinds of celebrities. There's Baryshnikov there. There's just, it is the elite of New York City and beyond. And anytime someone would turn and kind of give me one of those uncomfortable looks about my black eye, David would say something like, "What's the matter? Is she looking at you wrong? Just hit her like I do." And it would floor me for sure, but I'm sure we caught some of those people on camera reacting to David's comment, because it's definitely not politically correct, but it definitely lightened the mood, and also having had the knowledge of having had the photo shoot the day before, I did know while I had a black eye, I didn't technically look like the monster that you feel like by looking at people's reactions. So definitely learned to have a sense of humor about these things. We have been through a number of wacky situations. So on one such occasion, David was trying to fix his friend Julie, new friend that had just come to the city from Canada, up with a friend of his friend. He had this really dear friend. We were going to her birthday party, and he had heard, tales about this really attractive lesbian that all of his friends they were all straight women, all married, all partnered up with men, but they all had this thing for this woman. So David was like, Julie she needs to meet people. She wants to be hooked up. I'm going to go to this birthday party, and I'm going to introduce her to this, near mythic character. And he'd not yet met her. He'd just heard these, myths, really. So, he knew the other women, so he figured, well, if they think she's cool, she's got to be. And so we walk in, and she was definitely commanding a presence, in a little apartment in Brooklyn with a house full of people, holding her own on the dance floor with everyone. And he was just so sure that this meetup and matchup was going to happen, but unbeknownst to him and I, now that I'd met Julie, she had a type. So this person, even though she was mythological to everyone else in the room, she did not meet the type that our Canadian friend said she liked. But on the other side, in time, I ended up dating the mythological character and for a couple of years, and he ended up having a fling with our Canadian lesbian friend. Go figure, right?